All right, guys, we are back. This is CPGM.com is the website.
No, it's not the website.
Oh, damn. All right, guys, we are back. Couch Potato General Manager is the...
Nah, that's not the website either, bro.
Couch Potato, look, Couch Potato.
I got it, bro.
General Manager is a YouTube.
All right, guys, we are back. CouchPotatoGM.com is the website. Couch Potato General Manager is the YouTube channel. You know it because you on it. We're here to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. We know they have the first pick in the draft. Arizona Cardinals preview.
Offseason preview.
Offseason preview.
Yeah, man. But before we start with the offseason preview, we're going to go to the recap. The Arizona Cardinals in 2018 finished 3-13. Worst record in the league. Not only did they have the worst record in the league, they were last in points. They were last in first downs. They were last in run defense. They were last in rushing offense.
They were last in a lot of things.
Last in passing offense. So offensively, man, is the issue, or was the issue for the Arizona Cardinals. Started off with a Sam Bradford. Remember that guy?
Glass?
Yeah, stealing money out there.
Stealing money.
And they went to the rookie Josh Rosen, who they traded up for. Offensive line woes. Seems like everyone on the offensive line got hurt. Even when they were in there, wasn't very effective. Lack of weapons.
Larry was out there. David Johnson was out there.
Yeah, but Mike McCoy was out there too, man. Let's get into Mike McCoy, man. Get into Mike McCoy.
He was a disaster, man. I know that he's been it's his second time in
2 years being fired mid-season.
Not good.
Let me transition that real quick to does the front office of the Arizona Cardinals actually know how to hire a coach? Because I'm not sure they do. I know BA fell into their lap, and then we can talk about Cam Wisenhunt. He did take him to a Super Bowl. Yeah. Santonio Holmes got him. It was a hell of a catch. Before that, who was coaching them before that? And who's coaching them after BA? Like and by the way, they hired Steve Wilks late in the game, super late in the game. I don't blame him for taking the job. I take the job too. You know, this is my shot. I'm gonna take it, but you know, I'm pretty sure he didn't have a coaching staff because you got to get your coach quick because you start getting plucked and pieces start getting plucked, and next thing you know, you end up with Mike McCoy. You end up with Mike McCoy, and so you know, I know Byron Leftwich took over halfway through the season, but I'm just wondering, do they actually know how to hire a coach? And that leads into Kliff Kingsbury.
Yes.
We'll get into that, but you know, listen. I know they want to do their due diligence. I know you want to do your due diligence, but why are we bringing in Hugh Jackson? Like that makes me even more think that I'm not sure that they know what they're doing. I know that they can draft players and they're pretty solid in drafting players outside of offensive line. For whatever reason, they can't stay healthy, like Headley had stated earlier. But in terms of a coaching staff, it's no bueno. And I question the Kliff Kingsbury hire. I'm a little nervous.
It's never a good sign when you're firing a coach after one season. That's never a good sign. So I think some of your questions regarding the front office, Bidwell, Kime, is warranted. It's warranted. Your handling of that situation. When you hire a coach late, the ability for that coach to put his staff together becomes incredibly challenging.
You're hiring people you're not sure about. You don't know. You're bringing them in, interviewing him because
you get what was picked through. You get what's picked through. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know. There's a big sale, whatever the case may be, and you get what's left on the rack that nobody wants to discuss. Clearance stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. So, you know, considering that they were out of it so early, to get started and ultimately make their hire this late, it can be problematic. Yeah. So. We'll see with respect to that. Heather, you mentioned, you know, the 2018 season and statistically how poor this team was. They had a pretty good pass defense. You know, they still have the ability to get after the passer, particularly with Chandler Jones. They got a franchise piece in Patrick Peterson. Still has good football ahead of him. There's some players on this team to be excited about, but just not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough. And the offensive line in particular is what this team has to get addressed this upcoming offseason. I think, and the bad news associated with that, if you want to talk about negatives, is I don't know if they're going to be able to turn it around in one offseason. Perhaps. It's been done before. The Rams a couple seasons ago, they were able to nab John Sullivan and Andrew Whitworth. They had some guys who had played well previously. You know what I mean? So they were able to get it situated there. But Josh Rosen, I think he's a talented player. I think he has the traits and the skills set for quarterbacks that play a long time in this league. Mm-hmm. And by that I mean accuracy, anticipation, assuming he has time. Now, his ability to deal with the blitz and pressure will improve over time, but you got to be able to protect him. You got to keep him upright. And, of course, you got to get him some weapons as well.
I'm trying to figure out when the last time the Arizona Cardinals offensive line was good. It's either a bad pick, bad player, or injury. Like there's no real, best offensive line might be the year they went to the Super Bowl, but when you go back and you look, it wasn't that. It still wasn't.
They had Kurt Warner. They had Bolden. They had Fitzgerald. In their primes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kurt Warner was able to mitigate some of that. You know what I mean? And then recently with BA, BA is an old school vertical offense. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? His offense takes time, or the passing game takes time to develop.
Yep.
So what had to happen, which didn't necessarily happen with McCoy, is get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly. You know what I mean? Mitigate some. You can't address it all. The offensive line, they're getting paid for a reason, and they weren't getting the job done. Again, because in some instances, injury, guys not performing up to snuff, any number of reasons. But they didn't use David Johnson in the passing game. David Johnson coming out was more receiver than running back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a perfect storm of awfulness, to be perfectly honest. You have a young quarterback.
No offensive line, a dearth of weapons. Mm-hmm. You're not using your best player or even your Hall of Fame, soon to be Hall of Fame receiver. Yeah. You're not involving them in the offense in the right ways. And then you with a first year head coach, you fire offensive coordinator. I mean, how do you expect a young quarterback or a team for that matter to have success under those circumstances? If you want to look for a positive, you could look at what the Rams did a couple of seasons ago. Jared Goff was a young quarterback, a rookie, labeled as a bust. Josh Rosen, rookie season, didn't have a good year.
We're talking about trading him.
They're talking about trading him right now. You had no offensive line issues. What did the Rams do? They brought in Andrew Whitworth. Arizona Cardinals bringing a left tackle to stabilize the offensive line.
Trent Brown, Donovan Smith, those are two options that may be out there.
And they bring in some weapons, man. And you got a new head coach, man. They brought in Sean McVay, an offensive mastermind. Kliff Kingsbury is supposed to be an offensive mastermind. We'll see. He coached Patrick Mahomes in college. So, these are positive signs, but, that's what you got to hope for. You got to hope that Kingsbury could be the next Sean McVay, develop Josh Rosen, protect Josh Rosen, and get some more weapons around him.
Well, I learned today Kingsbury he's a part of the Brady tree. Brady's got a tree now.
Oh, Brady.
Yeah, he's got a tree now. Yeah. So some guy he has become the offensive coordinator over there with the Redskins. He was the quarterback's coach or something. Yeah, that's part of the Brady tree. So Kingsbury is a part of the Brady tree.
You know what else is part of the Brady tree? Charlie Weiss.
Where's he at?
Oh.
I know he coached the Gators. But that was
repress that. Repress that.
Yep. Kingsbury, man. I question the hire, and his best season was his first season. I think he won 8 games, and he's essentially, I think he's 5 games under 500. And like you said, he did have Patrick Mahomes under him, but did a lot of the issues that we had with Patrick Mahomes, he was under the Kingsbury tree, and he didn't really fix any of the things. He would turn around and Mahomes.
So Andy Reid got a hold of him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Andy Reid got a hold of him and got those things reined in, and you just wonder, what can he do for Josh Rosen?
At least on the surface, because I question the hire too. And, thinking about it positively, you got a guy who does have a history of being really innovative in terms of the play design and things of that nature, which will help. I think there is that aspect in terms of actually developing a quarterback that still remains to be answered. And I'm curious as to why Kingsbury didn't necessarily get the offer he was looking for at the collegiate level. You go from, being out at Texas Tech, you end up as offensive coordinator at USC, and then for whatever reason, I guess the Arizona Cardinals, they defaulted to Kingsbury as their head coach. So that raises a red flag to me. But again, this is a guy that especially as the league continues to skew towards offense, particularly in the regular season. And of course, you have to play well in the regular season to get into the tournament, the playoffs. It's an intriguing hire. I don't know exactly how effective it will be. I'm not necessarily the most optimistic about it, but all things considered, I think they certainly will get a lot more out of established players than they did under Mike McCoy. You saw it improve a little bit under Byron Leftwich. I think Byron Leftwich will continue to grow as an offensive play caller in Tampa Bay. I don't foresee Kingsbury making the same mistakes as McCoy in terms of not utilizing David Johnson in the right ways, not getting your receiver Fitzgerald, whom they re-signed to a 1-year extension, involved. I just can't imagine that that's going to happen.
Let's get to the defensive side of the football. They brought in Vance Joseph. Arizona Cardinals, going back to that 3-4 defense, man. The defense that, they excelled under when they had Bruce Arians and James Betcher and those guys. Todd Bowles. So, you got Chandler Jones, a pass rusher, like you said, Patrick Peterson. You got Buda Baker, your guy at safety.
Hassan Reddick might actually be put in position to be successful now.
Inside linebacker.
Yeah.
So the questions on defense for me would be, are you bringing back a Deion Buchanan who's light in the pants, but is he kind of playing a Mark Barron role type of thing?
He's just not Mark Barron.
He's not Mark Barron. He's about 15 pounds.
I think Buchanan flashed early, but since he got injured, he hasn't been the same player. No.
Gerald Hodges was also a free agent, so I think there might be some holes that they have to fill there at the linebacker position. Seeing how you're going to a 3-4, you're going to need more of those. But the defensive side, that's really not the problem for this team, and I think that's something that they'll get fixed quickly. And like I said, Kliff Kingsbury, one of his issues, as a coach, was dealing with the defense. And you can just leave that to a guy who is coming from being a head coach, but now he can, and Vance Joseph can focus solely on the defense. So I think that's kind of a super positive.
Yeah, man. So, you said the defensive side, it can be easy to fix. They need offensive help, man. Let's get into the offseason preview. What are you going after first?
Man, I'm kind of up in the air right now. If we're talking, if we're talking free agency, I think that they have I hope they have an opportunity to go get a Trent Brown to kind of seal off that left tackle because he's balling for New England right now. He didn't exactly fit with the 49ers in their zone scheme, so he got traded over there to New England, and he's having a great time over there. So I hope he's an option. If not him, then maybe Donovan Smith for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But and then the receiver position, which that's an eyesore, man. It's an eyesore for this team. Outside of the offensive line, and please use Larry Fitzgerald, but maybe you bring back a John Brown, hop on a Randall Cobb, or you draft a receiver or two.
Do you try to make a trade for AB? That's the top receiver that's out there.
Ooh, that's the talk, huh? Talk of the town. I mean,
second round pick.
I would definitely pull the second round pick. The first round pick, I'm thinking if I'm Arizona, I trade down. Then whatever pick I'm at, I may that to get AB.
Yeah, man. What about the draft, man? They got the number 1 pick. A lot of defensive talent out there, man.
I mean, you talk about the draft. Ideally, you turn that first pick into multiple players. I think, particularly as you're going to this 3-4. Like, do you have a stand-up edge rusher that you feel it warrants that first overall pick? Is there a guy out there?
That's when you mentioned the Nick Bosas and the Josh Allens of the world.
Right. You have to give that some consideration. Me personally, as it pertains to the Cardinals, I think it's all about, certainly you need to add weapons, but I think the focus has to be the trenches on both sides of the ball. We talked about the offensive line ad nauseum. We understand the shortcomings in that particular position group, and it's the most important position group in the game. All right, is the offensive line. There's some things they can make some moves in free agency, and then certainly try to navigate that draft board and get a starter, maybe 2 out of this draft class. On the defensive side of the ball, to me it's about being solid up the middle.
Yeah, they were last in run defense.
Exactly. They seem to be able to. This team has has done a good job against the pass. That number could be a little, they rank well against the pass. That number could be a little misleading because, of course, teams are running the football. The offense hasn't been able to stay on the field. Maybe finding that nose, finding that the corresponding 5 techniques to play that 3-4 nose, and then of course at the second level they have some free agents that they need to add a playmaker at the second level of their defense as well.
I agree with you, man. I think trading down is the best solution for Arizona Cardinals because there's a lot of defensive talent in the draft. So even if you trade down from 1 to like 3, 4, or 5, it's still like a Quentin Williams out there. He could anchor your run defense. He could play that 5 technique for you. So trading down is the best option for Arizona. But if they don't trade down, it's Nick Bosa.
It's edge rusher.
It's edge rusher.
It's probably edge rusher.
Somebody out there right now is yelling about Jonah Williams though too. So
listen. I don't know if there is a tackle, one of those Orlando Pace type.
Number 1 pick
10,
type.
12 years, forget about it. Plug and play guys, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I think the Cardinals' best move here is to turn that first overall pick into a couple of starters. Not 1, but 2, maybe a third a year from now. You understand what I'm saying? A guy that can step in after, getting some seasoning. They have too many holes. They have too many holes just to and I don't know that there's that player out there that's just, just let's put the card in now. It's January, put the card in now.
A perfect example of this is what the Indianapolis Colts did last season. They traded down from 3 to 6 with the Jets. The Jets drafted Darnold. They were able to acquire Quentin Nelson, Darius Leonard, got 3 second-round picks, got some more draft capital. So trading down is a great option if you have a lot of holes on your team.
There just isn't that much separation in my eyes with respect to some of those I guess the top 10 players in this class. You know what I mean? Yeah. Particularly at the positions that they play. You know what I mean? So with that being said, if the difference on your board is negligible regarding a player, it behooves you to trade down.
Yeah, man, and get a corner opposite Pat Peterson.
Yeah,
you keep throwing out these different free agents every single year. go draft your guy in the second round,
Jimmy
third
Smith
round.
is going to be a free agent.
That's a good one.
He's going to be Jimmy Smith. He plays a lot of man-to-man. I think, you might be able to actually, we'll see about the discount. The Cardinals have, about $50 million now to work with since re-signing Larry Fitzgerald. So I think Jimmy Smith should be probably towards the top of their free agent wish list as well.
Yeah, man. So there you have it, man. That's the Arizona Cardinals offseason preview. Please leave us a comment, man. Let us know what you think, man. What you're trying to draft, who you're trying to get in free agency, what happened last season.
What do you do with that first overall pick?
Yeah, man. Like, comment, and please subscribe.
Man is in the building.